Hello everybody, my name is Shortline614 and welcome back to Project 6, Part 6, Project Wanderer. And last time we found the Neil Armstrong Memorial on the Mun. We've been doing a test flight of our beeg lander. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it back with that big lander because we kind of pushed it to its limits and did more than what I planned to do with it. But today, hold up. Sorry about that. I just got immediately interrupted by, well, I didn't tell anyone I was streaming, but, my mom. I didn't tell her that I was streaming, but, yeah. So last time, we've been doing, a flight test of our lander for our self-sustaining ship, and we landed at the Mun Arch, we then hopped to another place on the Mun, and now we landed nearby the Neil Armstrong Memorial, deployed our rover, and we went on a bit of a road trip. And we found it, which is very, very neat. My only issue is that I don't think I'm going to have enough Delta V to make it back to Kerbin with that lander. Depends on, you know, how much stuff we can take off of it, but I kind of pushed the lander to
Adjective. Shocked and amazed.
Oh, of course there's an ad. Kind of pushed the lander to its absolute limit in terms of it's only really designed to set down in one spot and then immediately go back up into orbit. It's not designed to kind of hop around the planet. If you need to hop around the planet, you simply refuel back up at the station. But did find the Neil Armstrong Memorial. It's very, very neat in a real nice area of the Mun, actually. There we go. The music is back. In a real nice area of the Mun. Yeah, I think it's time for us to go. Bob and Sus have taken their little rover. Actually, I'm curious, right? If I do an EVA report, Mun's northwest crater. No, there's nothing. Can I plant a flag on the memorial? I guess I can. Huh. So there's no like special like EVA thing, like EVA report at the, but it's still a solid object, so you can still plant another flag. Neat. Okay, well, that's good to know. Well, we are going to begin up. We are going to begin to make our way back to our lander, because these guys need to go home. And that's going to be our main goal for today. I want to get this flight test done, right? And we can move on. I think the next step is we're going to develop the ore lander, which I think I need to figure out. I think the largest body we're going to theoretically need it for is maybe Ike. I want to develop that for Ike, and then we can develop a small space plane we can use on Lathe. But that's the next big step in terms of Project Wanderer and actually getting the self-sustaining ship actually fully designed. Okay, so how far are we away? We're 29 kilometers away. That's actually rather far. 29 kilometers away from our lander. Well, 24, not 29, sorry. It's actually rather far, although I have done significantly longer road trips. I did, I think, like a 200-kilometer road trip on Duna. I have it all recorded, but I don't think I'm ever going to make that into a video. But, oh well. Anyways, it's time for us to... I'm not going to fall into a crater. Yeah, we're leaving the memorial behind. I'm glad I know where it is now. It'd be a nice place to build a... Oh, that's a physical... Oh, wait, no, it's not. Huh? Okay. That's a nice place to build a base, this little valley area. That would be neat. Maybe I'll do that, you know, on my own time or something. I do have to point something out, which is I am back to using, at least for this stream, I am back to using Tim Dodd Everyday Astronauts music because he has been selected as one of the people to fly on the Dear Moon mission, which is Yuzaka Maezawa, who's a Japanese billionaire. He's also a very big, he's one of like the main people funding the development of Starship, and he has this mission that when Starship gets operational and can carry people, it's going to be him and a bunch of other people, mostly artists, creators, stuff like that, who are going to fly around the moon. And the idea is, hey, you know, artists are pretty creative people. What if they could see the moon up close? What kind of art would they make? And Tim Dodd, of course, Everyday Astronaut on YouTube, very great guy for spaceflight documentaries and spaceflight news. He has been selected, as one of the crew members, which is excellent. I'm honestly not surprised. I kind of, you know, I think I would almost be disappointed if he wasn't. I know his name was tossed around a bunch, and it turned out to be true, so that's why we're playing his music. Today was my day off, though, from work. I have work tomorrow. I had work yesterday, but today I was off. I mostly played a whole bunch of Europa Universalis 4. A bunch of EU4. I edited a bit of a video. No, that's mostly what I did today. Not too much. Bonk. Yeah, that's something I have to figure out. How exactly am I going to get back? Well, assume the way we came. We're just gonna head straight into that little valley and then, you know, probably find our way back. One thing I do gotta look for is, I think the current lander, I checked. The lander right now has 508 Delta V without the rover, right? And if we have to basically leave the rover here, that's fine. The engine plate that connects the Nerva engines, that can be disconnected. We can throw that off. What else? And of course we have Bill over here, so a lot of the smaller parts we can just toss as well. And we also have RCS, which is good. I don't think the RCS is factored into the Delta V calculations, so I think at a very minimum it's about 580 meters a second of Delta V to actually get into a low moon orbit. And we're in a retrograde orbit too, so it might be a bit, you know, I might have to take my CSM and put it into a high orbit and just completely reverse its inclination, but we'll worry about that when we get there. I'll put the surface scanning module back up. Oh, this rover's been doing pretty well. I forgot to deploy all of my surface experiments. Oh well. Music a little bit. Yeah, okay. Everything is good. We're just gonna be slowly making our way back to that lander. far are we away? We're only 4 kilometers away. A nice rover. Works pretty well. How many tons is this? I don't think it's very many. Vessel. The mass of it is about 2 tons. Alright, that's not much at all. I've certainly made rovers that are a lot bigger than this, but hey, if it works, it works. It took a while to get working because you had to fiddle around with a lot of the settings, but oh well. Yeah, we kind of want to straighten out and go up that hill. That's the way we came. Ugh. I'm gonna take a sip of my... I have an entire jug of lemonade right here, so just gonna take a quick sip of that. Lemonade. Put that back down. You are picking up some speed though. You don't want to go too fast downhill because, well, might break something or tumble or whatnot. Although this thing has tumbled a bit, and it has been fine. Where's the, I wonder where's the lowest point on the surface? I think it's at one of the poles. I don't think it's along the equator. Although I want to check where the highest point... That might be a fun mission, though. The highest point along the equator, and try and find where that is. And then put a craft on top of that, and then put a craft in a very, very low orbit. Excuse me. That passes just barely like 500 meters above the highest point along the equator, so you can get the craft into render range. Be fairly simple. You could probably do that in a single launch mission with, you know, 2 probes or whatnot, but I kind of want the craft to be big enough to see. Oh, bounce, 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 bounce. Suspension on this is pretty good. Bounce, bounce. And now that I'm thinking about it, because like Deer Moon, it's just a lunar flyby, right? It's not. It's on a free return trajectory, so it's just a close flyby around the moon. They're not actually going to orbit it. Same with Artemis 2. Like that's not an orbital flight. That's just a flyby around the moon, and still pretty neat. Like, I know with Orion, it can't get into a low orbit around the moon without, you know, it would need a bigger service module or something like the exploration upper stage. But Starship can get all the way to the lunar surface and back in theory, right? So I wonder if it's just, I guess the mission would be simpler, right? It's a lot, fly around the moon, you get close to the moon, but it's still safe enough of a mission for, I guess, civilians to go on. Yeah, we gotta go up that hill. We kind of have to go up this way. That little crater. Oh, that's the CSM is coming over for a pass. I select that as my target. Rendezvous. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh well. Let me just go ahead and select that back. Come on. Purpose? We can stop and quick save just in case. 70 kilometers. 74 kilometers. Come on. Oh, okay, probably not a best place to stop considering we're actively sliding down a hill, but... Here, let's, get on some more flattish ground. Kilometers, 50. I think it's in... What orbit is it in? It's in only a 25 kilometer orbit, so... We are slowing down a bit. Just keep going. Just keep pointing at 270. You should be good. 41 kilometers. 37 kilometers. 37 kilometers. 35. I think it's gonna pass at maybe like 20 kilometers. At 24, 20, well, 25. $24, $23. Up. Wait, 22 kilometers is gonna get underneath. Nope, 20. Closest approach to us is about 22 kilometers. Alright. Well, I need to get back up to speed. Ugh. Come on. 9 meters a second, 10 meters a second. The wheels. We're slowing down? No, we're not. Okay, good. 8 kilometers away. Can you still see it within render range? Yeah. Big monolith. Yeah, there it is, back there. Huh. Interesting. Okay, we're almost around this hill. Zoos. Oh, hi, Dean. Hello. How's your day been, Dean? Hope it's been doing well. Today was my day off work, so I've just been doing a bunch of random stuff and was like, might as well stream. We are, I found the Apollo 11 memorial back there, and now I'm just slowly making my way back to the rover, and we're gonna get these Kerbals back to Kerbin, and then it's back to the design board for another part of the self-sustaining ship, because the lander will be done. We will have flight tested the lander, which is nice. Oh, no. No, 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 you're not doing this. Come on. Come on. Sues, like the Sioux Line. Sioux Line Bandit Scheme. Greatest paint scheme to ever grace American railroading is the Sioux Line Bandit Scheme. Been alright, been writing another piece for Coffee Shop and about to do some more work on the Miskatonic. Nice, nice. Damn, I haven't done anything for Coffee Shop in a real long time. I've, like, written some things here and there. Nothing, like, coherent enough to, be completed enough to present. I don't know, maybe someday, but... eh. Okay, well... about... we're just about to be halfway there. So I'm going to break, and I'm going to quick save, so if I die, I don't have to immediately come back all the way, drive all that time again. Let's just stop. Is it going to actually want to stop, or are we going to continue to slide? Yeah, we're going to continue to slide. Okay. Hold up. I just... yeah, cannot move. Okay, hold up. It's... if I just retract that, will I stop then? Yes, I will. Okay, quick save. We just dropped the quick save, and now it's time to continue on. Still 15 kilometers away. Kind of want to drive around this mountain. What I kind of want to do is actually, yeah, we can, there's a little like ramp area, we can go up there, right? Got a notification on my phone, someone has texted me. Let me just check that real quick. Just family sending photos. Yeah, let's see, I work tomorrow, and then Saturday I'm free, Sunday I don't know yet. Store's closed on Monday. I still don't have like a completely set schedule yet for my job, so that's unfortunate, but I'll get it soon. I am really liking it though. Yesterday I had to do a there were these G-scale locomotives, right? It was an Aristocraft SD45 G-scale with out. A lot of the detail parts were off, the locomotive had been used, it was dirty, so I had to give it a bath, basically. And then there was this, another G-scale, I think the next two were USA trains, G-scale Pennsylvania Railroad F7, or, that I had to, you know, basically inspect. And then there was this Alco PA AB set of New Haven locomotives, right, also in G-scale. I had to put a bunch of the detail parts back on, so, and eventually put them up on the shelf for sale and whatnot. Up. Bounce. Driving quick, 18 meters a second. We're about halfway now. 11 kilometers that way, 13 that way. Of course, thank gosh, the rocks in the game are just they're not like they don't have colliders. You can just phase right through them because if that wasn't the case, I would be here for maybe 5 times as longer trying to find a way around. Oops. Bounce. Okay. Yeah. There's a little area up there we can ramp up to. Bounce. What else? Oh yeah, there was the Falcon 9. There was Falcon 9 launch today. I know that's not particularly interesting because dude, there's Falcon 9 launch every week. But it's actually been a while, like been 2 or 3 weeks since the Falcon 9 launch, and missions kept getting delayed for whatever reason, and this was one of them. It was a OneWeb satellite, some OneWeb satellites or communication satellites, and I think this was the 4th flight for this booster. 189th Falcon 9 flight overall, and I think it was the 53rd or 54th Falcon 9 flight this year alone, which is just ridiculous. That's what reusability gets you, but it was a really neat launch because instead of landing out on the barge, the drone ship, like they normally do for most flights, they actually returned to the launch site. It was a return to launch site landing, where they fly the thing direct back to a landing pad near the launch pad. And we got some really great views of the booster coming back in. Excuse me. The booster coming back in that you normally don't get because, well, if it lands out on the drone ship out in the ocean, there's no, tracking cameras out there to, track them coming back in. You have the cameras on the drone ship and you have the onboards, but having something, when you land back at the Space Center at the landing pad on land, you have all those extra tracking cameras so you can get great views. That was really neat. And I also think the next Falcon 9 launch, which is actually a lunar mission, it's a Japanese lunar lander, which is the next Falcon 9 launch. I think that's within a day or two. That's also landing back at the launch site. So yeah, I don't know, because I know SpaceX's goal for this year was to, I can't remember, it was either 50 or 60 launches per year. Last year I think they had 31, and this year it's, excuse me, getting tired. This year I think their goal was either 50 or 60, and they passed 50, they passed that in November, but if they're aiming for 60, they're going to have to get a lot in the next couple of weeks. That mark, they might just barely do it. I know last year in 2021 they only barely hit their 30 launch per year mark too. Like there were 3 launches within about 24 hours, at the very, very end of last year, and that kind of squeaked that goal in for them. But crazy. Falcon 9 is an amazing rocket in a lot of ways. Really good low Earth orbit access vehicle. I'd still say shuttle is better for the simple fact that shuttle gives you more capability. Like, you can bring stuff back down, you can capture satellites and whatnot. But of course, Falcon 9, in terms of actually being cost-effective and reusable, is, the best. So, I don't know. It depends on what you value more. Do you value capability or do you value cost? In terms of getting stuff into low Earth orbit. Of course, getting anything beyond low Earth orbit is just, completely different ball game, because, Falcon 9 can do it. It can put stuff, out to the moon and whatnot, but nothing very big. Of course, something like Starship is going to be able to throw a lot of stuff out there, because it's designed to do that. You can find a good middle ground between the two, no need to complain. Yeah, the issue with... Okay, so Ian, I don't know how much you know about the shuttle program in general, but the basically the same idea. Basically, you know, you develop a partially reusable spacecraft. Shuttle isn't fully reusable; it's only partially reusable. And the idea is, if you fly it enough, if you fly your reusable spacecraft enough, the cost comes down. Well, in the early 80s, the way that they were running the space shuttle program is that the space shuttle program was shortchanged. They didn't give them enough money. Congress didn't give them enough money in order to actually do what they needed to do. So NASA had to cut a lot of corners. And combined with the fact that Congress really didn't change their expectations all that much, led NASA to kind of rush a lot of these shuttle flights and not really go over what they were doing. And if there were problems with a lot of those early shuttle flights, they would just kind of brush them away, saying, well, the thing made it into orbit. And of course, although that kind of mentality of, hey, just launch it, kind of came to a head in, of course, early 1986 on STS-51L and Challenger. So after Challenger, they did a review of the space shuttle program, right? And NASA decided to, what they basically decided to do is they decided to take a reusable rocket, right? A reusable vehicle, the space shuttle, and take all of the methods and all of the components that make it reusable and more or less treat it as if it were an expendable rocket. So I guess the big example of this were the space shuttle main engines, the SSMEs. Amazing engines. They were designed to be reused, I think it was 50 times without needing a rebuild. So you take an engine that's designed to be reused 50 times without needing to be rebuilt, and what did NASA do? They rebuilt it after every flight, which all of the savings from having a reusable engine were basically gone because you basically rebuilt the thing in the name of safety. And the safety margins that they got from rebuilding the engines wasn't very high. Like, it was only a few percentage points, and there's some people who said that the reliability of the engines actually decreased because you rebuilt them all after every flight. And so, I was not paying attention. So that's kind of why, you know, and also the fact that, you know, because NASA was kind of too scared to change anything, how the hell did we make that? You know, the space shuttle, what was meant to be this reusable vehicle that was supposed to fly a lot, due to the way they were flying it, because they were scared of something like Challenger happening again, they basically made it so you built a reusable rocket and then you proceeded it to not really use it. You built something and then you proceeded to not use it how it was designed. And that's why the shuttle could never really fulfilled its goal. But the shuttle, at the same time, where are we? Okay, it turns out I was not paying attention and drove into a crater. Okay, well, that's fine. I found a way out. But, the shuttle had a lot of capabilities to it. Like, I guess the biggest one is, you could bring stuff back down. You have that big payload bay that comes down with you. So you could take stuff into orbit, you could, you know, and if you wanted to bring it back down, you could. The shuttle also had the robotic arm, Canada arm, which meant it could not only, it could use it to assemble things in space, but it could grapple to satellites, and the astronauts would go out and service them. You could service satellites on orbit, right? They did that with the Solar Max satellite, STS-41C, in 1984. Challenger went up there, and they captured the Solar Max satellite, which was malfunctioning. They brought it down to the payload bay, and they repaired it. And they also did that with the Hubble Space Telescope. You know, shuttle went up there, deployed Hubble, and then every few years they would go and they would service the telescope, and they would upgrade it over time. So, and of course the shuttle was used to build the space station, right? Falcon 9, yes, Falcon 9 is a great vehicle, it's a great rocket, right? From a reusability standpoint, Falcon 9 is, well, Falcon 9 was the first rocket that proved that reusability could work. Because SpaceX basically they weren't afraid to take risks, right? They weren't afraid of failure, they weren't afraid of taking risks, and part of that was because, well, Shuttle had people on it and Falcon 9 doesn't. but and they were able to get up that flight rate and drive down that cost. Where the hell am I? See, this is what happens when I keep talking. I just get completely distracted. Okay, I see a path up, right? I think we could probably make it up here. Can we? How the hell did I get down here? Oh, wait. Oh, I can make it up here. Okay. And because SpaceX flies the Falcon 9 so much, and they actually reuse it, they operate it how they intended it to, and they operate it more or less as a reusable spacecraft. They don't take apart the entire rocket after every single time they fly it. They keep it together. They can get that high flight rate and get costs down. Like, I think a new Falcon 9 booster is about $67 million. But if you reuse that 10 times, you can get the cost down into the single digits in terms of dollars, single digits of millions of dollars, only a few $1,000,000. But at the same time, Falcon 9, it can't bring stuff back down. It doesn't have it's not designed to do that. Second stage is, expendable. You can't bring stuff back down. You can't service satellites with it. It's the payload bay on shuttle was a lot bigger than, the fairing on Falcon 9, so Falcon 9 can, carry smaller payloads, can't carry bigger payloads. And, I think both vehicles really have their merit. Both vehicles, I wish the shuttle was still flying, of course, but they had their place. Oh yeah, this is the track that stops for whatever reason. Oh wait, never mind. There it goes. But in terms of being, rockets and launch vehicles, which is the kind of fancy spaceflight term for basically anything that gets you into space, launch vehicles that can send stuff into low Earth orbit, I think they're both good. Of course, we're getting anything beyond low Earth orbit. Getting anything beyond low Earth orbit, like out to the moon, is a completely different thing, right? Falcon 9 is great at putting things. Falcon 9 and the Space Shuttle were great at putting things into low Earth orbit. But obviously, once you try and send stuff beyond low Earth orbit, it gets a bit more complicated. The Space Shuttle didn't really send that many payloads, launch many payloads beyond low Earth orbit. The way they would do it, right, if they wanted to, is they had basically a mini solid rocket motor that would fit in the payload bay along with the payload. So the shuttle would get into orbit, it would deploy the payload with that solid rocket booster, and then that solid rocket booster would activate and push the payload out to a high orbit or out to, the moon or something like that. And they only ever did that a few times. Falcon 9 can put stuff out to the moon. The next Falcon 9 flight's a Japanese lunar lander. But, once you get beyond low Earth orbit, the size of the payload that Falcon 9 can throw out there drops off a lot. So, and of course, I think obviously SpaceX's next generation rocket, Starship, is basic. It's more or less, Starship is designed to be a Mars rocket, basically. It's a fully reusable rocket, massive rocket, largest ever built, and it's designed to more or less go to Mars and go to the moon and whatnot. But obviously, if you can launch stuff into low Earth orbit, big payloads into low Earth orbit, and it could launch stuff out to the moon and Mars, you need to, with Starship, of course, in order to go beyond low Earth orbit, you need to refuel it. So if you want to send a Starship beyond low Earth orbit, you will need like 5 or 6 Starship flights, one with the payload and 5 or 6 with just fuel to refuel it in orbit. So it's I like comparing rockets and their capabilities. I think it's really neat. Because no two launch systems are the same. No two launch vehicles can do the same thing or are meant to do the same thing. It's yeah. It's kind of, obviously something like SLS, for example. Actually, when is Artemis 1 coming back? 2 days. SLS is really good. You know, people like to, you know, do the whole SLS versus Starship debate because, well, they're the two largest rockets that are either currently flying in the case of SLS or about to fly in the case of Starship. You know, SLS can launch stuff out to the moon in one go. You don't need to refuel in orbit, in low Earth orbit, to send anything out there, like what you have to do with Starship. So, yeah, it's generally, and of course Starship is kind of, you know, people like to treat it as the be-all end-all, which I think currently it's certainly the most innovative, you know, rocket seriously developed. Because you combine basically the payload capacity of, say, like a Saturn V or an SLS, where you can throw hundreds of tons into low Earth orbit. The utility of the space shuttle, carry crew, carry a lot of cargo in a big payload bay. It's almost certainly going to have some kind of robotic arm to grapple satellites. It's certainly going to have, it certainly can bring stuff back down. It's designed to do that too. And the reusability, hopefully, the reusability of the Falcon 9, where it's actually even more reusable than the Falcon 9 because most Falcon 9 flights, you're landing them out at sea, so there's a few days to get after you land out at sea, it takes a few days to get back, and you have to, you know, send the vehicle back to a hangar and have a look over. But with, you know, Starship, it's being designed to land basically directly back at the launch pad, and in theory, you could launch it again within a couple of hours. Now, I don't think it's going to get to that anytime soon, but that's what it's supposed to do, at least in theory. We're almost back, 5 kilometers. I've been drinking a lot. I need to take a sip of my, talking. I need to take a sip of my lemonade. Taking a look over at my workbench, which just has a bunch of models on it. I did get a decoder, a DCC decoder in the mail today, for a Cotton Belt SD45T-2. I have 2 of those. I have one in the Bicentennial scheme, and then one in just the normal scheme. You've admitted to being an alcoholic. It's the first step to recovery. Hey, I didn't say what I was drinking. Well, I did. I was drinking lemonade, but, okay. But yeah, I have a bunch of stuff on my workbench, that I need to actually work on, but I don't feel like it because, you know, working on model trains is like half of my job now. Half of my job, it's literally my job, entirety of my job. I work at a train store, so, oh well. What's this button? So I have Twitch up in the right-hand corner on my right monitor, and there's a little button that says React. What is this? Viewers can react to specific moments anonymously on your stream. Got it. Huh. To figure out what the heck that does. Up, bounce. Bonk. You gotta pay attention now because we're only 4 kilometers away, and I wouldn't want to fuck up now and reload 15 kilometers away, especially after I fell into a crater. Talking about Falcon 9. Must be a new thing. Yeah, do you have it on your screen, Dean? Also, Dean, how's the audio? Is it good? Always audio paranoid. Oh well. I have it, and the audio is good. Good. That's good. I need to slow down a little bit. Up, top heavy, bounce. 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 Rover has good suspension. Part of me kind of wants to break one of the wheels on purpose just to see. Oh, airtime. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. They're still alive. They're still alive. What? Wait a second. What broke? We're okay. The illuminator, so the light on the front and the docking port broke. That's a fender bender. Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. I'm still gonna keep going because, well, the whole point of this entire mission, besides to find the Apollo 11 memorial, was to, and the Monarch, was to... That was a nice trick. Oh, hi, Bob Rico. I was wondering if you would join, because I know watching your stream yesterday, you said you would. I'm just... You missed my entire discussion about Falcon 9 and the space shuttle and whatnot, but... Yeah, I am currently coming back from the Neil Armstrong Memorial on my test flight of my lander for my self-sustaining ship, and I kind of pushed the ship way beyond its limits. I landed at one of the Mun Arches, and then I was like, you know what, I want to go find the Apollo 11 Memorial, right? So I decided to hop from one part of the moon to another, and when I got to this part of the moon, I discovered, hey, I don't have enough Delta V to make it back into orbit and rendezvous with my command module. So, what we're gonna have to do, right, is we're gonna have to leave the rover on the Mun. Which is why I don't care that the docking port exploded and died. But we're in render range now. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get Bill out, and we're going to have to take as much stuff off that lander as I can possibly can, because, well, I need to make it light enough to actually be able to make it back into orbit. Have some time for my NyQuil quick, since so I figured to say hi. Well, thanks for coming. I hope you've had a good day. Today was my day off from work, so... I've mostly just been sitting at home playing games and whatnot, but I just streamed some KSP. I almost didn't stream tonight. I was like, I'm too tired. Like, nah. I always say, oh, I'm too tired to do this or that, and then I end up doing it and it's fine, so, oh well. Anyways, there's our lander. There is our lander. Very big. Still love the look of this thing. It's really cool looking. One thing that I also need to do is I also need to test... I also need to test if that thing can actually survive doing a re-entry. Because it doesn't have a heat shield, but I can slow down using the engines. Kind of get rid of the heat. Okay, so... We are back. I'm just going to retract the... Oh yeah, that's another test that I wanted to do. I wanted to test if retracting the wheels would break them. The rover looks really good. Might have to copy it at some point. Yeah, it's a nice looking rover. It's only 2 tons, but as I said, I had to fiddle around with a lot of the wheel settings in order to get it to... Last few entries, Duna is not too bad. Yeah, it's not bad at all. I think it's the... Out of all the planets that have atmospheres in the game, I think it's the most forgiving. I think it is the most forgiving in terms of all the places that have atmospheres. Layth's atmosphere is, well, Layth, it's a lot thicker of an atmosphere, so you have to deal with more drag, re-entry heating. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this thing up to speed, and then I'm going to retract one of the wheels and see if it pops. Nope, it does not. Okay, well that sucks. Now I'm just doing wheelies. Well, not wheelies, now I'm just spinning. Come on. For sure, and it does require a bit of powered landing. Yeah, and I knew that going in because I had done a massive Duna mission before I designed this thing. Alright. That's the flag. Okay, so this thing has 508 meters a second of delta V. Now, we need to get... that's not as bad as it sounds because I have the monopropellant. I have a bunch of monopropellant, which is very good, which means that I can use that to get into orbit. But I still want to have some margin. So what we are going to do is we are going to... and what I can also do is I also have this engine plate right here that I can use to decouple. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to get this guy, Sus Kerman. I'm just going to get him back into the lander, and then we're going to get Bill out, and we're going to try and take as much stuff off of this lander as we possibly can. Lander looks nice too. It does. Well, I'm about to absolutely... I'm about to make it look less nice, because, as I said, in order to get into orbit, I don't have enough delta V, so I'm going to basically take Bill and have him just, all of these spare parts, like the lights and whatnot, I'm just going to have him toss off just onto the lunar surface in an attempt to save as much mass as I can. Okay, we're going to need the docking port, obviously. Okay, so where is... I'm leaving the rover on the Mun. Normally the rover would, normally it would have its... On a normal mission, it would have a docking port, and then it would retract back into the lander using this arm. But that's not something we're doing right now. Okay, so... First things first. Let's get him up here. These parachutes, we don't need them. We have a command service module with a heat shield that we can rendezvous with, which is also beneficial to us because that means that the CSM can do basically all the maneuvering. I don't know why there's a ladder right there. That's really weird. I'm gonna have to change that. These lights, they can go. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. Now what? I'm gonna take one of these RTGs and I'm just gonna bolt it there. That antenna is also going to... I also don't need it. We have a crew. This thing has crew in it. It's designed to operate with crew. Oh, something exploded. Oh well. Let's see. I'm going to need the RCS. I don't think the cubic octagonal struts really do much. Let's see. I'm not going to need to land this again. So we're just going to... This is the second time I've had to actually do something like this. Just take off as much parts as possible. I had to do this with my last Duna mission. Of course, when we actually go to fly this thing around the system, the Kerbal system, right? We can't do something like this. We need to be very conservative when it comes to our fuel, our Delta V. I wasn't on this mission. I was intentionally, like, you know... Because what I did was... I go into map view real quick. I landed at the Monarch, and then I hopped over here. And that is not something I designed it to do. I designed it to just land once at a single spot, and then take back off, and then rendezvous back up. It's not meant to really hop around planets. That's kind of what we have the rover for, but I kind of wanted to see if it could do it. Okay, that's out of our range now. That light's still on there. We don't need that. Oh, there we go. Have to check how much Delta V that all these parts are going to save. It's probably not going to save much, but anything we can save is good. Any weight we can save in a situation like this where we don't have enough to actually make it back is good. Ohio. Oh, hey, Star. Glad you could join. I'm currently stuck on the moon, and I am currently taking as many parts off my lander as possible to make it light enough to actually make it back, at least into orbit. These ladders are technically attached to... How are you doing tonight, Star? I hope you're doing well. Oh, Star, I have a drawing I need to send you. I'll do that after the stream. But, what if could I stand on this RCS port? Come on. I want to be, I don't want to waste, not to listen to some ASMR. Nice. I don't want to waste, jetpack fuel because I'm going to need it to get back in. These ladders I'm taking off mostly because the ladders are attached to... The ladders are attached to the what's it called? The upper stage here. Well, it's all single stage, but this engine plate, I can decouple it. So, all right. That everything? I think that should be everything. Everything that's attached to this upper part. So let's get Bill back in, and then we'll see how much weight that saved us, right? So board. 513. Okay, that didn't save us that much Delta V. Okay. Let's see. What do I have in here? I have monopropellant, which is good. Do I have monopropellant anywhere else? The monopropellant is probably what's going to get us into orbit, to be honest. But, okay, so I'm going to save. And our single goal is we're just going to get... Nothing else exploded. We're just going to get into a orbit, right? I don't care what kind of orbit we get into. I am going to, oh, there's the rover. I am going to quick save. Hopefully I don't have to do a separate rescue mission. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this engine plate, and I'm going to decouple. 561 meters a second. Okay, that's good enough. We are going to take off. The bottom part of the lander just falls over. Orbit. I want to go sideways as much as possible. Literally just pitch over sideways. And then just use the RCS as much as possible. See if we can make it. Meters a second. Remember, we need to be at roughly 580 meters a second to achieve an orbit. Come on. Hey, 105 by 3. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that worked. Oh, look how much fuel we have left. That's nothing. Oh my gosh, we actually did it. Okay. We're in an orbit. A very shitty orbit, but an orbit nonetheless. Oh my gosh, that is awful. With 14 meters a second left to spare. Well, you have to remember our periapsis is at 3, so if I don't raise that, we're going to impact the moon at a very high speed. So let's just go up to my apoapsis. There's the CSM. Hey, I'll take it. Okay. Okay, yeah. Uh, but hey, the higher we are, the higher... Oh, Mariko, you know orbital mechanics. You played this game. So, the higher we are, that 14 meters a second might actually get us into a somewhat decent orbit. Would shutting down a few engines help at all? No, it wouldn't. Maybe getting us into a slightly better orbit, but I don't think it would. These are the most efficient engines in the game anyways. Okay, 105 by 40. Okay, that's actually decent. It's not decent at all. That's still garbage in terms of actual. It's a stable orbit. The parameters are awful, but it's still a stable orbit nonetheless. You're good now at 40. Yeah, I am. Okay. Oh my gosh, I need a drink. Take a drink of this Kirkland lemonade. Star Julie is live, by the way. If you want to watch him. If you're still here, of course. But, we're gonna switch to our CSM, and we're gonna perform an actual rendezvous now. Come rescue these guys. I set this thing to have a probe core, right? Yes, it does. Okay. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to do... let's see. Rendezvous, orbit... And this has a full tank, right? Yes, okay. Yeah, this has a full tank of fuel. So it should be good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get us into an orbit that's roughly similar to the lander. Oh, okay. I also need to... Let's warp over to the ascending node, right? Ugh. That was one of the most, That was one of the most, heart-wrenching missions I've done in a while. Because, maybe I'll show you, because I still have the save. My last Duna mission, I needed to do something similar, right? I was going to do something similar, and I think I just ended up saying screw it and just sent an entirely separate vehicle to actually land and pick them up and whatnot. And those Kerbals were out at Duna for like 5 or 6 years or something ridiculous like that. Okay. Relative inclination. We want to get that relative inclination down. And we can use our RCS to... We can use our RCS to fine-tune it. Is my RCS enabled? Oh yeah, it is. Okay, well, actually, I don't want to use the RCS too much because I have to conserve that for docking. So, relative inclination. Oh wow. Oh, we're out of range. Okay. Oh well, that's good enough. Okay. So, cannot add maneuver control lock. Oh yeah, we're on the far side, so we can't actually... We don't have any control over the vehicle. Now we do. Okay. That might complicate things, but, just curious. If we were to... do this now, what kind of... 3.1 meters a second of delta V, and I can get a 1.1 kilometer encounter. Okay, that's good. Oh. Start burn in 2 days. Well, I think they can hang around the lander and for 2 days. Epilepsy warning. high-speed passes over the moon. That happens. Let's see. That happens. I plan on building a Dune train to send in the next encounter. That way, it will be a space station over Duna for easier returns. Yeah, that's something. Well, the self-sustaining ship is basically just a space station that can go between planets. Obviously, I've only designed the lander part. I need to design the fuel lander. That's probably going to be in the next stream that I do. A fuel lander shouldn't take too long. I've designed fuel landers like that before. And I already have an idea in mind. So that shouldn't take too long. And then we'll flight test that. And then the space plane specifically for Lathe, I think I'm probably going to make that space plane as small as I possibly can. And then I think at that point it's just designing the actual like center section of the station where you have the crew and the fuel and the whatnot, the refinery, and then the nuclear tug. Oh, hello, bot. And MS. Sorry about that. Fine boom sound effect. Yes, indeed. We'll have a couple landers like a driller or a converter. Well, I plan on having 2 main landers. Which, oh, your station? Oh yeah, that makes sense. I would probably, if you're going for a fuel station, like a station that strictly does fuel, right? I would put it around Ike. Because Ike is roughly the size of Minmus, and you can get a fair amount of fuel from the surface of Minmus up to a station orbiting around Minmus. You would have to design, like, your vehicles that go from, say, Duna to Ike. You'd have to kind of design them to be a bit bigger, but if you want to have a lot of fuel and always have fuel, then putting your fuel station around a smaller place like Ike would probably be the best. Oh, what's this music? This isn't Tim Dodd. What the heck? I like it, but it's not what I was playing. Oh well. Yeah, that's the plan. I don't have much for return trips. That's fair. Okay. 1 minute. Do we have comm? No, we do not. Oh gosh. So we're gonna have to just immediately turn on the engine because we don't have communication link. So when this burn happens, we're gonna have to immediately turn on the engine and then immediately turn it back off. There we go. Okay. I can't... Okay. Set as target. There we go. That is good. Yeah, and some of my other saves, I have a comm link, like... Oh no, I accidentally warped past it. Oh, come on. Ah. Oh well. Yeah, as I was saying, in my other saves, I would have a comm link around the moon, but this is just a test. I don't have any of that kind of stuff with me right now. Well, that was a mistake. Let's see, can I okay, if I just... Six meters a second, okay, we have enough, but... Damn, I should really pay more attention, but, oh well. We're gonna have to do that again. Me over the close side. Nice crater, a cavern right there. Luckily, it's just the Mun. You can afford that. Yeah. Well, let's do this again. Close enough. 0.4 meters a second. That's good. It's still just a 0.6 separation anyways. And let's see. Look at target. There it is. Okay, so it looks like the lander is actually going to have to do a lot of the docking. Oh, gotta slow down now. There we go. I want to point towards the target, slowly fly towards it. 17 meters a second, 0.1 kilometer intercept. Our closest approach. We are gonna, yeah, we might have to have the lander actually do most of the docking because we have lost comm link and I can't. There's no relay on that. It wouldn't work anyways because, well, we're on the complete opposite side of the Mun. All right. 0.2 meters a second. Excellent. Okay. Okay, where is... There it is. This thing does have plenty of monopropellant. Okay, that's good. We can dock. We can dock with this thing. Might be a bit sluggish, but oh well. Sluggish docking. Send the engineer over to control it. No SAS, but at least you have control. That is true. I'd rather just try and dock this to it than anything else. Nah. Actually, I might do that. That actually... yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll have this thing docked to this. We are going to have to eventually dock this to something, although I've docked crafts that are way bigger than this, so... Okay. Well, we can send over one of the pilots. Where's Val? I'm gonna quick save, just in case. We're gonna send Val over to, you're spacewalking to get to the... I know there were like contingency plans during like Apollo where if for whatever reason they couldn't like hard dock the lunar module and the command service module coming back from the moon, they would have to do like a soft dock where they get the latches kind of into each other but they're not holding on, and they would have to spacewalk over. I think they almost had to do that on, I think, 14. When the lunar module was coming back from the moon, they tried to dock with the command module, and it just wouldn't do it. Oh, what the hell? That's still controlled. The ultimate solution, they almost had to do that. They almost had to spacewalk over, but I think the solution that they came up with was they just rammed the two docking probes together and they just, okay, what if I just unselect this target? Just have it targeted be like that. And it worked, so, why the... What the hell? Yeah, unselect that target, right? Can you just hold? I always get tripped up when the docking port's not facing in front of me. What the... I keep unselecting. Okay, hold up. If I just get you into a position where you're like this, right? And then I just turn off everything. You're just like that, okay? Will you suddenly want to awkwardly drift? No. Okay, that was... Huh. I've never had that happen to me before. That was really weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty okay with docking. Like, it needs to be on, like, a certain axis. Like, it needs to be on, facing either normal or anti-normal or prograde or whatnot. It can't be, like, moving around. That was strange. Yeah, that was strange. Oh well. Oh, yeah, it's moving slightly. Oh gosh. That's gonna be fun. Hold up. Okay, now we just need to go down. Have to be careful of my monopropellant. Solar panels. Nice. I do like the restock mod. It does make everything look real nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to have the two craft just directly face each other, and then I'm just going to dock it that way. Probably not the best way to do it, but hey, it works. And there we go. We are docked. Okay. Now it's time to transfer these crew over. I don't think there's anything else we can take. That's how I always do it. I don't like doing it because most of what I dock to are space stations, and moving it around. Excuse me, moving it around like that is Okay, you're all in here? Yes, they are. Okay, excellent. Undock. So this thing is just... That thing can't be controlled without a crew, so, I'm just slowly gonna back this thing away. Alright, now it's time for us to go home. Okay. So... Let's see, I always forget. How do you get... Need to be on that side of the moon. Okay. We'll go over to this side of the moon, right? Kerbal's boarding the shit fuck too. Spud, you missed a fucking odyssey right here. I will explain, but I'll explain on the way back. But basically, I was testing that massive lander. I was testing that big lander for my self-sustaining ship project, right? And and I landed it. by the Mun Arch, right? Down there. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I want to go find the Apollo Memorial. And my microphone. Mic unplugged. So I found the Mun Arch, right? And then I'm like, I want to go find the Apollo 11 Memorial. Oh, it's all the way over here. So I hopped the lander over to nearby the Apollo 11 Memorial. I wasn't exactly sure where it was. I took my rover that I had with the lander, and I put it out there. I found the Apollo 11 Memorial, and I made it back. Then I realized, oh shit, I wasted so much fuel that I don't actually have enough Delta V to make it back into orbit around the moon with the lander, and stuff like that. So basically what I had to do is I had to do what Mark Watney did in The Martian, which is basically take the lander and toss as many things off of it as possible in order to actually make it back into a low lunar orbit. And it worked. I made it into orbit with 14 meters a second of Delta V left to spare. With the lander, I had my CSM go and to the lander, grab the Kerbals, and now we're headed back home. Oh lord, that technique. Yeah, that's the second time I've had to do that. The first time was actually on Duna, and I was doing a Mars Direct mission style architecture. Which I know the mission architecture in The Martian isn't exactly Mars Direct, but it's similar enough. What the hell? In fairness, that seems safer in a body with no atmosphere. Yeah, what the heck is this orbit? Okay, I'm not taking a particularly sane path to get back to Kerbin, but it's close enough. I just want to get these guys back. And why is exiting the moon's SOI almost crashing my game? Yeah. Oh well. I can still show you the mess of... Yeah, once we land, I'll go back to the Mun, and I'll show you the mess of stuff that, that's just on the moon. It's a literal debris pile. I had to leave the lander behind, the rover behind. The rover rolled over and its docking port broke off, which, I mean, I didn't really care about because I wasn't going to use it anyways. Nope, I don't want to go into a high orbit, I want to come back down. But yeah, it's been an adventure, I will say that. What do you plan to do for your next stream? I think my next stream is probably going to be Team Fortress 2. But if you're talking about my next Kerbal Space Program stream, I have the lander for my self-sustaining ship. Are you in a retrograde orbit? Yes, I am. I did that so I could get a free return if I accidentally warped past the Mun. Alright. But, what was I? The next step in the self-sustaining ship series is, because I have the lander, I know the lander, despite everything that happened today, I know the lander works. The reason why what happened today happened is because I pushed the lander well beyond the limits of what I designed it to do, and the predictable happened. The next step is to design the ore lander, the one that goes down to the surface of planets and mines ore and then comes back up to the station. That shouldn't take too long to design, although, I don't know, you never know. Okay. I don't know when I don't know when the next KSP stream is going to be. Probably either Sunday or Monday. Probably Monday, if I were to guess. Heat shield is heating up. I mean, that's what it's designed to do, but, Oh. Nice. Monday? Wait, hold on. Monday, as in the month from the hit 2000, I read that as 2001. 2011 video game, Kerbal Space Program? Yes. Okay, we're through the atmosphere now. Time to jettison the heat shield. Where are we coming over? We're actually not too far from the desert airfield. Huh, interesting.
Hey, so what's Top Golf?
Oh, nice Top Golf ad. I don't care. I just want to listen to music. I'm listening to Tim Dodd's music in honor of him being selected to for the Deer Moon. All of his music is it's I can listen to it. It's free anyways. Free to listen to anyways. Not like copyrighted or well, it is, but he said that you could use it as long as you credit him, which perfectly acceptable. There we go. The heat shield jettisoned, but apparently it's stuck on. That's no good. Once our parachute deploys, it should fall off, though. Look at that nice, like, sunset. That's... I forgot to take screenshots. Oh, well. Normally I take screenshots, but I guess not today. Well, it's on stream anyways. It's not like... today I'll golf. Yeah. I don't think I've golfed in... I've gone golfing, just not any time recently. Parachute deploy. There goes the heat shield. Coming back down in a valley area. Nice. Large ships. This is like 6 parts snow. And we are down. So, Project Wanderer Flight Test 1 is complete. I would say that despite everything happened, it was a success. If I did not decide to go and push the absolute limits of my lander, it would have been perfectly fine, but oh well. I know it works. Even in a situation like that, I know it works.
Go for main engine start.
Someone is following?
We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Endeavour.
Thank you, Spud Namus, your girl for liftoff, and Bob Rico. I am blind, so I can't tell what those are, but if there's you waving goodbye. Oh, if you're leaving, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate everyone who watches my streams, and it's always nice to have, you know, people in chat to talk to. Clapping, sorry. Oh, I thought that was you waving goodbye. I couldn't see it. It's so small on my screen. But yeah, the mission is over. Here's Spud. Thanks for following, by the way. I will show you the absolute remnants of the bottom half of my lander on the moon. For example, this. Okay. Yeah, time to show the absolute prepare to see what I had to do. Why is it taking forever to load? Well, I guess there's like 8 billion different crafts here, even if it's just debris. Oh, yeah. This is what happened. Can I switch to this bottom half of my rocket? Oh well. What mod is that KSC from? It's from KSC Extended. It adds 39A, 39B, Slick 40, Slick 41, /37. It's kind of a weird combination of the two. Landing Zone 1, Landing Zone 2, I think LC6, whatever pad Astra uses, or used, because they don't launch rockets anymore. But yeah, this is the rover I had to abandon. I can't do anything with it now because it requires Kerbals to actually, you know, be inside of it. That is the bottom half of my stage. This thing is not designed to come apart. The lander is designed to stay together. In an ideal mission, this would have gone, everything here, I wouldn't have had to toss you know, all these parts away, and this would have gone back up, the entire thing would have gone back up and rendezvoused with the command service module, or hopefully the self-sustaining ship, and then it would refuel and come back down. But I had to do some shenanigans to kind of make sure those Kerbals got back, so you got this husk. Good night, all. Thanks, Bob. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I don't know, I'll probably catch you in a stream, I don't know, sometime this weekend, sometimes later, who knows. Thank you for watching, though, I really do appreciate it. But yeah, that's the remnants. This is just forever stuck on the Mun. Let me DM your mod list on Discord. Yeah, I don't think I have it, like, fully. Also, good night. Are you going too, Spud? Or are you just saying good night to Bob? If you're going, I will send you my mod list on Discord. It's a decent amount, but thank you for watching if you are leaving. I'm actually gonna end the stream here. So, is the stream gonna continue? I'm about to end the stream, actually. But, thank you all for watching, because, well, that's, as, I can't stream very long, I have work tomorrow. But, thank you all for watching, and, I will see you all in the next one, and thank you everyone who watched. Dean, Star, Bob, Spud. I will see you all in the next one, and I'm just gonna raid EJ, because he is cool. Go watch EJ. He is building a space shuttle, and he's building Shuttle Centaur. That's what he's doing, and it's really cool. So, yeah, goodbye everybody.